Refining Heaven and Destiny, the Reincarnation of the Ding. Chapter 1, Appearing in the World. When the heavens and the earth first opened, the great immortal of Refining Heaven used the Refining Heaven cauldron to make up for the heavens and cut off the heavens, and the cauldron was hidden in the wilderness. Hundreds of thousands of years later, the living young man Lu Hao accidentally excavated this ancient cauldron that had been sleeping for thousands of years. The cauldron was blue and black, and the lines were winding and unclear, as if it sealed the endless mysterious power of heaven and earth. On that day, Lu Hao and his best friends and brothers Qin Lan and Du Lai explored the abandoned mine together. As night fell, the ghostly fire in the cave reflected the cauldron. Lu Hao stretched out his hand to touch it, and suddenly a hot heat penetrated the bone marrow. He broke down and shouted out his brother's name, and immediately fell into a coma. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 2, Betrayal and Blessing. When he woke up, the cave collapsed, and Qin Lan broke through the hole to rescue him, but he showed a sly smile. He coldly hid the heavenly refinement cauldron and attacked Lu Hao and seriously injured Lu Hao. Du Lai was too hasty to stop it, and his eyes were full of contradictions. Just as Qin Lan raised the tripod to kill him, a beam of light emerged from the Liantian tripod, like the incarnation of the goddess of fate, covering Lu Hao. Qin Lan's insults stopped, and the tripod light shone, helping Lu Hao to mutate with his remaining body and successfully escape from the cave, but he died. When Lu Hao was dying, the cauldron fire burned, a low howl, and the sky shook. He formed an eternal contract with the heavenly refining Ding. His destiny was reshaped, his soul was immortal, and he was reincarnated in the world. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 3, Reincarnation. 1,000 years later, Lu Hao was reborn as a rural boy with simple parents, and there were rumors in the village that he had an abnormal fate. At the age of 15, he touched the fragments of the heavenly cauldron again in the back mountain. The broken fragments reshaped the cauldron's shadow, and he once again faded away from his mortal body and started the cauldron alchemy. The fragments attracted the pursuit of cultivators and demons, and Lu Hao had appeared in the dungeon with the memory remnants of the future Ding Ling. He defeated his senior brother who was eager to destroy the cauldron, and also killed the viper demon in the village who witnessed his potential, and rescued the wandering girl Miran, who had a special affinity for the cauldron technique, and has been walking together ever since. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 4, The Great Way to Find the Ding. Lu Hao and Milan embark on the path of cultivation and go to the Wanjian Mountains to seek the secret of Ding Ling. Hidden in the mountains is the Lianding Xianzong, a secluded sect. The head of the sect, Feng Xian, is indifferent. Seeing that Lu Hao's Yuding is half finished, he accepts him as an inner disciple. The road to cultivation is turbulent. In the trial of refining the cauldron, he mastered the gathering of spirits in the cauldron, opened the three-layer space mirror realm, and refined the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, but he also encountered many tests of the Ding Ling illusion. Qin Lan appeared in the mirror. He was cunning and sneered, provoking his primitive nature. I also saw the withering illusion of millions of life and death like a noisy fate, warning of the cruelty of the refining cauldron to the destiny. In the end, he successfully fused the broken cauldron, condensed into the correct shape of the refining cauldron, recast the heavenly cauldron, and the brilliance dripped emerald. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 5, The Secret of Heaven suddenly leaked. Just as Lu Hao was given the mission to refine the cauldron, sect leader Feng Xian revealed the cruel truth between heaven and earth. The legacy of the heavenly cauldron is not only a weapon for replenishing the sky, but also a fate lock that controls the survival of reincarnation. The cauldron is sealed with the root of destiny, which can change one's destiny against the heavens and even reshape the order of the world. Those who become cauldrons have the power of the cauldron to change their lives against the sky, but they also bear the punishment of heaven and earth. If they think against the path, the person who refined the cauldron will attract the heavenly body reverse law, the heavens and the earth will collapse, and the four realms will be extinct. Qin Lan was no longer immortal. He was reborn in the demon race, secretly gathered forces, and waited for the day when Lu Hao refined the cauldron to complete in order to seize the cauldron and restart the order of reincarnation. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 6, The World. The head of the sect passed on him to come out of the mountain, in the name of the tripod supplementary world, hoping to harmonize the four realms. However, Lu Hao found that the imperial court was afraid of the tripod, and the clan secretly ordered the monks to hunt him down at any cost. Miran was escorted into the capital and forced to hand over the tripod. Lu Hao went south to the capital to save people, and was almost assassinated, but still rescued Milan. The two sneaked into the imperial city and forced to ask for the truth. Milan's blood-stained collar revealed her covenant with the Confucian generals of the DPRK. It turned out that the royal family tried to use the tripod technique to resurrect the god of the country, restart the wartime war, and go against the will of heaven to usher in a new era of hegemony. Lu Hao was furious and decided to cut off all conspiracies. Chapter 7, The Battle of Reincarnation. Feng Xian led the disciples of the Lianding sect and Lu Hao to enter the capital to confront Qin Lan and the demon army and the imperial court's heavy troops behind him. The power of heaven was overwhelming the city, and the light of the Ding was dazzling. Qin Lan used the demon fire to control half of the demon army in the city, and fought with Lu Hao until the sky was dark, and sparks flew from the cracks in the Ding. Milan used the fate seal to temporarily stop the expansion of the demon intention. Feng Xian and the court monks set up a barrier to stop the demon soldiers. In the end, Lu Hao and Qin Lan faced off in front of the mirror table in the center of the imperial city. The Ding made a faint sound, and the world trembled. Lu Hao used the final form repairing the sky and reversing fate to use the Ding to draw the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to calm the soul and determine the fate. Qin Lan was sealed as an ethereal body by the reverse fate, neither dead nor alive, and locked in the mirror world. The cauldron converges, and the heavens and the earth freeze again. Chapter 8, End and New Life. The Liantian cauldron was sealed into the forbidden land of heaven and earth by Lu Hao and guarded by Feng Xian. In order to prove the power of the cauldron, the court no longer sought the cauldron technique easily. Lianding sect and Milan jointly proposed to transform the cauldron technique into a science to save fate and set up the Mingde Academy to heal the doomed with the way of repairing the sky. Lu Hao returned to his hometown and established a branch of the Mingde Academy side by side with Milan to study the righteousness of the people. They engraved the remaining rings on the tripod steel in order to warn the world not to go against the sky at will. Chapter 9, Eternal Sound. Many years later, the Mingde Academy spread all over the four realms, and people revered Lu Hao and Milan as saints who supplement the heavens, and the Tianding became a token of the heavenly realm. At dawn, the cauldron illuminated Kyushu, and people gathered in front of the morning sun to recite. Heaven and earth are virtuous, and fate can be achieved. The reincarnation of Ding Zhen is eternal. Chapter 10, Prisoner Light in the Mirror Realm. The embers on the mirror stand had not yet dissipated, and Lu Hao knelt alone in front of the mirror, feeling the emptiness he had never felt before. Although Qin Lan was sealed in the mirror world, his cracked and agile eyes still stared at him in the mirror. That was the defeat of the Brotherhood in the past, and it was also the burden he was forced to undertake. At this time, Miran walked in quietly, her eyes filled with tears. You save the world, but you can't save the heart that once prompted you to disobey your fate. Lu Hao held her cold hand and whispered softly, he was my brother in my trial. Now I have sealed him in my deepest anger. Miran nodded, and the two looked at each other in front of the mirror, understanding that the present was not the end, but a new beginning. Chapter 11, The Rebirth of Destiny and Virtue. The head of Feng Xian personally sent a tulle robe, symbolizing the scepter of the special envoy of the Mingde Academy. He welcomed Lu Hao and Miran to the top of the mountain, opened the altar with the soul of the ancient cauldron, and announced the official establishment of the Mingde Academy. Mending the sky is not only covering the leak, but also nourishing life, virtue, and heart. The head of the door is very serious. The underground refining cauldron disciples buried the first heavenly destiny tree and nourished it with the spirit chi of the cauldron. People pin their hopes on it, waiting for the possibility that heaven and earth can turn great evil into small good. Chapter 12, The Four Realms Win. Although the heavenly refining cauldron was sealed in the altar, the injustice in the four realms never subsided. Lu Hao and Milan led the Mingde envoy to travel all over the mountains and rivers, visit the forest, cross the demon realm, mediate the fateful struggle, repair the place of the trapped soul, and spread the Mingde Yuan all over the place. Everywhere Miran went, He held the fate ceremony to redeem those who were suppressed by the fate, and held the fate grace rest for the dead to settle the displaced souls. People regain their faith from gratitude, and the tide of darkness quietly escapes in hidden corners. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 13, Echoes of the Mirror World. Many years later, a Taoist visited the cliff at night and heard a whisper coming from the mirror world. I thought brotherhood could disrupt the world, but in exchange for a deeper gap between heaven and earth. Now, that person seals me in the mirror, is it really achieved? Or just a bigger cage? The voice was low and mournful, faintly spreading throughout the four realms, becoming an echo in the distant wind. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 14, Reverse Rhythm Reappearance. In a certain abandoned city, a raging black fire emerged in the night sky, and the grey shadow of the city of vain death appeared in the flying sand and stones. It was the crack in the mirror realm that opened again, like the gate of the underworld was reviving. Lu Hao and Milan went to investigate in person, but found that this vision was the result of Qin Lan calling out to heaven and earth with resentment in the mirror world. He secretly tried to break the seal, wanting to exchange his immortal life for the brotherhood of the past. The mirror world is faint, the heavens and the earth tremble. If the seal collapses, it will repeat the melee of the year, or even worse. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 15, The Final Decision in Front of the Mirror. Lu Hao and Miranda returned to the mirror realm, staring at the sealed mirror. Qin Lan's eyes in the mirror were cold, but there was also a hint of longing. Are you willing? Come to the mirror to share the shackles with me. Lu Hao was silent for a long time, and finally walked forward slowly, placed his hand on the mirror, and sang the curse of eternal destiny and virtue, and the world turned around. The light and shadow in the mirror are entangled, and the figures of Lu Hao and Qin Lan are like water, and their souls are connected. Miranda guided the protection of heaven and earth, and helped to seal the title with virtue. A burst of light shattered the mirror world, but it also bound the two of them forever, neither life nor death, becoming the watchmen of the mirror world. Heaven and earth are balanced again, but at the cost of the two being trapped in the mirror and not allowed to leave half an inch of the scene. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 16, Wood Carving in the Mirror. After the mirror technique was completed, the mirror surface turned back into an ancient wooden mirror with seal characters engraved on it. Mingda Yongzhen mirror guards 2 hearts. Miranda took the mirror down with the disciples of the Mingda Academy, moved it to the Mingda General Altar, and placed it in the heart of the main hall. On weekdays, it is only worshipped on death anniversaries and festivals, and many people have come here to ask for protection in the mirror. Many years later, the monument in front of the mirror was engraved. If that mirror is cracked, the world will be in turmoil. There are 2 hearts in the mirror, one for repair and one for protection. Chapter 17, Beyond Fate and Virtue, Under the Netherworld. The mirror world was sealed, and the souls of Lu Hao and Qin Lan merged into the mirror guard, guarding the balance of fate between heaven and earth for many years. However, under the netherworld, there was an ancient prohibition that was quietly unsealed, which was the abyss of splitting life that even the heaven and earth Ding spirit had never controlled. Milan, the head of the Destiny Institute, received a warning that a mysterious woman who called herself the Life Weaver rolled up her fate in the world, and her ability was able to reweave people's destinies, and even tear the wheel of life, causing the dead to be reincarnated and the living to fall into their souls. This is no longer the art of destiny. This is the art of tearing the sky. Feng Xian had said in shock. In order to stop the spread of the life-splitting technique, Miranda personally led the 3 strongest life mark envoys to the Valley of Broken Light to unveil a duel between the Wheel of Destiny and the Wheel of Destiny. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 18, The Origin of the Life Weaver. The Fate Weaver is named Shu Luo, a descendant of an ancient goddess, born with the bloodline of reversing the wheel of fate. She was expelled from heaven and suffered humiliation in the mortal world. She used the broken tripod of Liantian as a guide to cultivate the life-splitting technique. Her philosophy is diametrically opposite to that of the Mingda Yuan. The reincarnation of heaven and earth is unfair, and the fate has long been established. She intended to break through the mirror with her own blood, release the mirror guard 2 souls, and open the abyss of splitting life, so that the fate of all things would return to zero and reorder. Miranda and her launched a duel of will and faith. Both of them were in charge of the ancient art of life, and under the collapse of the sky, the sky was sprinkled with blood, and the mirror surface trembled slightly. Chapter 19, Mirror Crack. Lu Hao and Qin Lan's fusion soul body sensed the approaching power of splitting life, and the first crack appeared on the mirror surface. The two looked at each other, their souls and thoughts blended. If she succeeds, the world will be reconstructed. We have been sealing the mirror for many years, is it? Is it just a lie? No. Even if fate is a thread, we have to be a shuttle. Let people weave their own lives, not burn it all. The two of them chanted the Mirror Guardian Oath in unison, infusing their own souls into the depths of the cauldron's heart, fusing it with the entire mirror world, and transforming the cauldron into an eternal seal of fate to forcibly suppress the mirror crack. But the price was, Lu Hao and Qin Lan would lose their human souls forever, and become pure guardian spirits. Hearing this, Miran turned grey overnight, sacrificed one of the 3 seals of destiny, the Return Order Talisman, sealed Sholuo into the vortex of reincarnation in the Valley of Broken Light, reset her destiny, and let her be reincarnated and have a new life. Chapter 20, The Dawn of Destiny and Virtue. After the death of the 2 souls of Jing Shao, the lifeblood of the world stabilized again. After several devastating storms, Ming Diwen finally became the master of the righteous path. Milan moved the Mingde headquarters to the top of Tianyun, named it Mingzitai, and erected a stone tablet. Life has no desperate situation, and the soul has a way home. I hope that those who guard life in the future will respect it, protect it, and have a clear conscience. 100 years later, people no longer talk about fate and color change, and the art of destiny and virtue has entered the lives of the people, no longer only used by practitioners, but also used for healing, marriage, disaster control, and talent education. People are no longer afraid of fate, but learn to dance with fate. The wooden carvings in front of the mirror still stand quietly, but under the moonlight, 2 blurred figures can occasionally be seen, looking at each other and smiling. Ending. Life is like poetry, and virtue is like a tripod. 1,000 years later, the Ming Xi terrace still stands on the top of the clouds, and the name of the mirror guard is recorded in the great chronicles of the 4 realms. The story of Lu Hao and Qin Lan has been passed down by word of mouth by later generations of dramas and storytellers, and is known as Mirror Guardian Zhuangjia. People no longer only worship God, but also those who die for the sake of keeping their lives and walking to make up for the heavens. No matter how wide the world is, it cannot hide the light in people's hearts. Postscript, the tripod is broken, but the heart is still there. When the world was first created, the cauldron refined all things. When the world is destroyed, the heart refines all things. As I wrote the last stroke of this story, I still had lingering fears. Not because of the war between the cauldron and the mirror, but because of fate. There has never been a clear victory or defeat. Lu Hao, Milan, Qin Lan, Sholuo. They are just characters who are manipulated by the thread of fate, but they choose to go against the order of heaven with human hearts. If you've ever questioned fate, remember. You are not a person determined by fate. You are the creator of destiny. May you hold the pen as a sword and write your own chapter of destiny.